If you're interested in getting started with primal movement and are looking for a killer workout in 25 minutes, this one is for you. I'll be guiding you through some of my favorite beginner moves along with some helpful tips so you can get the most out of this workout. Let's get started with our warm-up right now. Kicking things off with arm swings. Stand with your feet hip or shoulder width apart. Throw the hands down and back on the exhale. Then swing the arms forward and up on the inhale. Find a nice rhythm with the breath and movement as you gradually start to feel into a bounce through the body. Once you get a feel for the flow, bring more intention to movement through the shoulders. On the downswing, face the palms behind you, internally rotating through the shoulders, and on the upswing, scoop the palms up and externally rotate the shoulders. Keep the breath flowing and take this opportunity to arrive in your body. Bring your arms into a T and reach through the fingertips to open the hands. Squeeze the hands tightly into fists. Alternate opening and squeezing the hands to wake up the hands, wrists, and forearms. Take a moment to rest, shake the hands out, and if you're cold like me, rub those hands together. We're gonna hop into one more round, so get ready. This time, reach the hands to the sky. Strongly squeeze and open the hands, pumping up those forearms and connecting the hands into the torso. Keep breathing. I know it's tough. Squeeze and open for 3, 2, 1, and rest. Shake those bad boys out. Ground into a hip or shoulder width stance. Exhale, hinge the hips back and slide the hands down the back of the legs. Inhale, stand tall and slide the hands up the front of the legs. Bend the knees as much as needed to feel a stretch in the glutes and hamstrings. To intensify this movement, press the feet through the ground and slightly straighten the legs. Find a nice rhythm with this movement to warm up the legs and get in tune with the breath. Bend your elbows at a 90-degree angle with the palms facing down. Turn your thumbs up, then out, so the palms now face up. And then turn the thumbs in, then down to complete the figure eight through the wrist. Continue the movement, keeping the elbows tight to the body, ensuring this movement is happening through the wrist. Do your best to smooth out the figure eight and get to know your wrists a bit better in the process. Reverse the movement by leading the figure eight with the pinky now, scooping in and up with the pinky leading and then down and out. If any part of the figure eight feels blocky, slow it down and smooth that part of the movement out. Get a couple more reps and then shake those hands out before we get on to this next movement. Sink into a deep squat. Heels off the ground is totally fine here. Place both hands a couple feet in front of you, gradually rocking forward and putting more weight through the hands. Reverse the movement by pressing through the hands and returning to the squat. Inhale as you rock forward and exhale as you rock back into the squat. Continue rocking back and forth, feeling the core activate as you press through the hands. When rocking forward, do your best to bring your eyes up at least a few feet in front of your hands to open up any rounded posture through the upper back and shoulders. From that deep squat, walk out into a high plank position. Step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Start the movement by exhaling and bringing your right elbow inside of right foot. Then inhale and reach the right hand to the sky, opening up through the T-spine. Follow the right hand with your eyes to promote a more natural rotation through the spine. Repeat this movement through the spine while remaining anchored in the lower body through both feet. Bring the right foot back into plank and then place the left foot directly outside of the left hand. Repeat the movement on this side, exhaling and rotating through the spine to bring the left elbow inside of the left foot. Then inhaling while opening the left hand to the sky. Drive the hand and 2 feet firmly through the ground to get the most out of the movement. That is our warm up. Awesome work. Stand up, shake things out, bounce around, get that body heat up, and we'll get right into this workout. We'll be sticking to 3 base moves with a few progressions along the way. In round 1, we'll get dialed with iso and marching cat, the open lunge, and the lateral monkey. In round 2, we'll get into the cat crawl, open lunge, and add a squat to our lateral monkey flow. And in round 3, we'll finish strong with cat crawls, the open lunge to sit through, and the pivoting lateral monkey. Structure for this workout is simple. We'll work for 60 seconds and rest for 30 seconds in between exercises. If a minute seems like a long time, feel free to take some additional rest at any point throughout the workout. Make sure you hang around to the end of the workout for a core finisher and cool down. We're getting started in 10 seconds with iso cat. Get on the ground, wrist underneath the shoulders and knees underneath the belly button. Lift the knees an inch off the ground and drive all 4 contact points through the ground. Expansively breathe into the natural bracing of the core, and on the exhale, feel the natural pull towards your center. Maintain this intention of connection throughout the body for a few more seconds. Now, lift the left hand and right foot off the ground, doing your best to maintain a good sense of balance for a second or two. Place those 2 limbs down and then lift the right hand and left foot off the ground. Alternate sides to form a slow and steady march in the cat position. Remember to breathe and embrace the wobbles and shakes. This is a sign that your body is learning through challenge. Rest, stand up, and keep the body moving. We'll be taking it into the open lunge next. Get set up in a tall standing position with feet hip width apart. Drive the left knee up and open the hip to lunge back at a 45-degree angle. Load and then unload through the lunging leg back to center. Alternate sides, doing your best to keep your eyes up and forward. Work at the ranges and angles that make sense for you. As you warm up, you'll be able to explore deeper ranges and different angles. Focus on driving through the planted leg on both the lunge and the return. This will condition the hip of the planted leg to rotate externally and internally while loading through the ground, leading to more confidence in both the lunge and the return. Tap into your rhythm and breathe into it. And rest. You know the drill. Keep the body moving, walk around, bounce around, explore your space, mobilize those wrists if you need to. We'll be dropping down into a squat for the lateral monkey in just about 10 seconds. Sink down into a deep squat. Heels can be off the ground. Reach and plant the right hand across the body, then the left hand. Press through the hands, laterally shuffling the feet with the right foot landing first and then the left foot. Repeat going in the other direction. This move can be performed very low as a shuffle, or more weight can be placed through the hands for a little more lift through the lower body. Start with the shuffle and gradually level up with more weight through the hands. If you have enough room, do 2 reps in each direction. Continue to breathe naturally and feel the flow. Rest. That is round 1. Awesome work. Take a moment to breathe, move around, maybe mobilize those wrists, stretch out any part of the body that's asking for it. We'll be starting round 2 on the ground with the cat, march, and crawl. Get down on the ground and get ready. Elevate the knees and start marching by lifting opposite limbs off the ground. Drive through the ground with the planted hand and foot to stabilize the body. Do your best to tap into your center and keep the breath moving. Now, take this march into a crawl. Stride forward with opposite arm and leg to propel the body forward. Keep things steady and do your best to land the striding limbs at the same time. Once you run out of room, reverse the movement, striding backward with opposite limbs. Do your best to keep the stride lengths even as you move backward or forward. Breathe and keep moving for just a few more seconds. Rest and take a breather. Do what you need to do to keep the blood pumping and the body heat up. And if your wrists are a little cranky after that one, show them some love. We'll be hitting the open lunge in just about 5 seconds. I've got an extra detail I want you to focus on this round, so watch and listen. As you flex and open the hip to lunge, imagine that you are stepping over a hurdle. Load into the lunge and unload, making sure that you clear the imaginary hurdle on the return to standing. Alternate sides at your own tempo and range, focusing on connection throughout the entire movement. Continue to drive through the plant leg for solid balance and active rotation through the hip. The stability through the plant leg will support more active range of motion through the opening leg. Breathe and remember to keep your eyes up and forward on the horizon line. Just a few more seconds of work. Stay focused and finish strong. Rest. Great job. Let's take a look at the lateral monkey flow coming up so we can get a full minute of solid work. Sink into a squat, perform the lateral monkey, shuffling the feet, landing the trail leg first, then lead leg second. Drive out of the squat, stand tall, then sink back down into the squat and repeat the lateral monkey going the other direction. Let's get set up, starting in 3, 2, 1, go. Use the next minute to connect with the ground, reaching and driving through the hands on the lateral monkey and driving through the feet on the squat. If you're feeling confident, pour more weight into the hands and start to stack the hips a bit more on top of the shoulders during the monkey. I stuck to a low lateral monkey throughout this session, so do what feels right for you in this session. Keep breathing and tap into your monkey flow. We've just got a few more seconds of work, so keep it up. Rest. Round 2 is in the books and you are crushing it. Reward yourself by shaking it out, wiggling the body, and moving around your space. We're down on the ground next, so if you need to mobilize those wrists, get it in right now. We've got a full minute of cat crawls coming up, so get ready on the ground, and we are starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's get it. This is your minute, your tempo, and your style. Breathe. Connect with the ground through all 4 limbs and start to sense your primal instincts. Just a few more seconds of work. Finish strong. Let's stand up and rest. I hope you're fired up after that one. Great work. Now, keep resting, but watch and listen as I break down the open lunge to sit through. Start by performing an open lunge. Then reach and plant the same side hand on the ground to create a tripod. Kick the back leg through the window of the planted foot and hand, sitting all the way to the ground. Press through the planted limbs, stepping the leg back into the open lunge and return to standing. You ready? Let's give it a go. Take your time going through each step of the movement. Open lunge, plant hand, sit through, step back, return to standing. The plant position of the hand is a little tricky. I like to think of planting my hand directly below my face. Find what feels good for you and focus on driving through the hand to create a stable tripod base. Fully sit down on the ground to practice getting down to and up from the ground with ease and style. Breathe and tap into your rhythm. Finish that last rep and rest. Let's finish round 3 strong with the pivoting lateral monkey. Again, keep resting as I break down the next move so we can maximize our work. Sink down into a deep squat on the balls of your feet. Pivot to one direction through the feet, then plant the hands with the fingertips pointed in that direction. Perform the lateral monkey. Bring the eyes up and pivot through the feet to the other direction, setting you up for your next rep. Let's hit it in 3, 2, 1, and go. Break the movement down into pieces to start. Pivot and point feet. Point and plant hands. Shuffle, eyes up. Pivot and point feet to the other direction. Use your eyes to naturally set the body up in the direction you want to head. This will take care of a lot of the cues if you're getting hung up. Take your time, remember to breathe, and let this movement flow naturally. Focus on connecting through the ground with both hands and feet to finish out the rest of this minute. And rest. Way to finish strong, but we are not done yet. So take a few deep breaths before we hop into the finisher and cool down. We're going to start by lying on the ground for the Starfish crunch, so if you want a mat, pause the video and grab that now. Otherwise, let's get to work. Bring the knees towards the chest and slightly flex the neck to connect the core. Extend the legs while reaching arms out into a T. On the exhale, flex and pull the legs back in while sweeping the hands together like you're squeezing a ball right below your butt. Inhale and extend through all 4 limbs. If you're feeling any pressure at the lower back, you can decrease the load on the lower core by lifting the legs higher or keeping some bend in the knee on extension. Stabilize through the breath, naturally compressing the core on the exhale and expanding the torso on the inhale. Rest. That's a sneaky one, so great work. Take a breather before we hop into the Thoracic Bridge next. Set up in the crab position. Pick the hand position that you feel most comfortable with. Slide the butt toward the feet, then toward the hands, and settle where you feel most stable. We'll start the movement by bringing one hand to the chest and driving through the 3 other limbs to create extension through the hips and the heart. Look down at the planted hand to facilitate natural rotation through the T-spine, and do your best to keep your hips square. Come out of extension, switch support hands, and repeat on the other side. Inhale as you elevate into the bridge, and exhale as you return to the ground. Take your time and stay connected throughout the entire movement. Rest. We're gonna hit those 2 exercises one more time before cooling down. So take a few breaths, turn over onto your back, and get set up for the Starfish crunch. Activate the core in that flexed position, and let's get to work. Inhale and reach through all 4 limbs. Exhale and pull all 4 limbs back into the body. Imagine you are reaching from the belly button through all 4 limbs on the inhale and pulling into the belly button through all 4 limbs on the exhale. If you're finding it hard to maintain stability through the spine, make those adjustments by lifting the legs higher or keeping some bend in the knee on extension. This will lighten the load on the spine and you'll still be able to get a great amount of work in this exercise. Keep it going for just a few more seconds of work. And rest. We are almost there. Stay focused and finish strong. Let's get set up in that crab for the Thoracic Bridge coming up next. Pick your hand position and find that stable base. Let's get to work in 3, 2, 1, and go. Bring one hand to the chest and take it up into the thoracic bridge. Feel free to hang out and take a breath or two while in extension to create some more space and feel deeper into the stretch. Remember to drive through all contact points to stabilize and connect through the ground, and you can start to open up through the chest and shoulder by feeling a little rotation and spiral through that planted hand. Just a few more seconds of work. You've got this. Finish strong. Finish up that last rep and boom, that's the workout. You crushed it. Let's slow things down with the kneeling spinal wave. Rock back into the hips with the arms lengthened and the forehead resting on the ground. Drive through the hands, flex through the lower back, then upper back, and then the neck. As the hips begin to extend to the ground, lift and extend through the heart, finishing the wave by opening the throat and extending through the neck. Reverse the movement by flexing through the neck, rounding through the upper back, then finally lifting the hips and flexing back into the lower back. Find a steady flow with the breath, exhaling on flexion through the spine, inhaling on extension through the spine, exhaling on flexion as you return, and inhaling in the loaded position before starting your next wave. The next time you come into extension, feel free to spend a little time stretching out in different angles. Simply do what feels good for you in this very moment. When you're ready, return back to the loaded position and take a few breaths. Thank you for showing up for this practice and getting primal with me. If you enjoyed the workout, like it, share it with a friend, and subscribe to the channel. Check the description below for the free Primal Foundations program. Have an amazing day, and as always, stay smooth.